Hello, I'm Tina Bessius, and I want to talk to you about the fall 2018 election in North Carolina. There are two sort of main outcomes that are possible, and there's one that from a Democratic perspective is very good. There's another one that's very bad, and there probably are some in the middle that are kind of murky. But I mainly want to focus on the good one because I think some Democrats have gotten kind of discouraged, but this is a real opportunity. If Anita Earls wins the Supreme Court race, and if all the amendments are defeated, and if we flip at least 15 seats in the legislature, then look at how things will play out. The governor would retain his powers of appointment, and his veto would be meaningful again. The courts would be a mixed bag, but the Supreme Court being 5-2 would be a really good break on the power of the legislature. And the legislature would have a Republican majority, but they would have to work with the governor and fear the power of the courts in all the things that they do. So we would actually have a decent balance among our three branches of government for the first time perhaps in a long time. Let's look at the bad outcome for just a minute. Let's say Anita Earls loses the Supreme Court race, and so the court remains 4 Democrats to 3 Republicans. And let's say the amendments are approved, and that the Democrats pick up something fewer than 15 seats in the legislature. Let's look at how this would play out in terms of the balance of power. The governor would lose his appointment powers, and many really be weakened considerably. His veto would be meaningless because the legislature could continue to override it. The courts would be a mixed bag. The 4-3 majority on the Supreme Court would be in danger. I'll explain that in a second. And the legislature would continue to have that supermajority that would allow them to pretty much ramrod anything they want into the law and the Constitution. So let's look at the Supreme Court situation. If Anita Earls wins, it would be 5-2, but if she doesn't, then it remains a slight advantage to the Democrats, 4-3 Republicans. But the legislature has the power to create up to 2 new seats, and they could call these vacancies. And one of the amendments gives them the power to fill vacancies, transfers that power, in fact, from the governor to the legislature. So they could add 2 seats, call them vacancies, and immediately exercise their new power to create a 5 Republican to 4 Democrat situation on the Supreme Court. Thus, the legislature would loom very large in this state. The governor would have minimal powers, be almost reduced to a ribbon cutter, and the courts would ultimately be controlled by the Republicans. So there would be very little, if any, balance of power at all. It would be all entirely in the hands of Republicans. So this does not have to happen. Remember the good outcome. We can elect Anita Earls to the Supreme Court, and we can nix all 6 of the constitutional amendments, and we can all support Democrats for State House and Senate. This can be done, and I hope you will join me in helping make it happen.